Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pearce. Ukraine War News Update, Kursk Update. Third time I've tried to record this, it's gone so wrong, I need to go and speak to my family. They're going to be thinking, where the hell are you? Sorry if I really rushed through this. I'm such a muppet. Anyway, Zelensky's been talking explicitly about what's been going on in Kursk. I think there might be some decent rationale to what's been going on here. I'll explain that in a second to you. But he's also talked about how he would really like the US, UK and France to be able to strike deep into Kursk. Lots of talk about different things happening in the attack into Kursk. Right now, as we speak, Kursk is getting hammered by missiles, possibly drones as well. Ukrainian missile attack in the vicinity of Kursk city this evening. Russian channels report that it was one of the most powerful attacks targeting Kursk since the start of the war. We have a Russian source here saying, as according to Dmitry from War Translated, the knockout of the enemy. Unfortunately, there's no good news again. The knockout of the enemy from Martinovka. So this is a village that apparently a Chechen commander had said, and lots of people didn't believe it. Don't know if it's true at all, but the Russians counterattacked and took back Martinovka, which is there. But only one source has said that, and so I don't know if this source is just taking that on and it's not. Didn't happen, but anyway, which happened today, became our only successful episode to date. Next, the enemy advance. Unfortunately, the date of the Ukrainian armed forces entering Makhnovka was confirmed. Now there is objective control data for this. Sorry, this means that tomorrow we may finally lose Sudzha. This is the idea that Sudzha, this town here that's supposedly under Ukrainian control, is apparently not quite under Ukrainian control, and that the idea from what he just said was that Makhnovka, not Martinovka, that's the place we were just talking about up there, but Makhnovka here is under Ukrainian control, and they're trying to encircle Sudzha, or the remaining parts of it, these kind of other urban elements of Sudzha, and take it fully under the control. But there's also claims that the Ukrainians are all the way out over here near Belaya. We've got Belitsia as well. Talk of a hospital in the area getting hit by a tank shell, which means that there's only a couple of kilometers away you're going to have a Ukrainian tank. Sorry. So lots of different claims there. The bad news in this area didn't end there, says this source. There is also information that the enemy has seen in the village of Guri. I don't know where that is. Moreover, not just small groups, but infantry on heavy equipment. If this is so, then the enemy is deeply enveloping our group in Sudzha and preparing a springboard for movement to the south and east here. Unfortunately, we don't yet see particularly dense battle formation, and the enemy has a lot of reserves. There's also claims that the Ukrainians might also be coming up from the south here, maybe up towards Belitsia. So it might be that they haven't gone through Sudzha to here, but actually come up from the south, and that would make sense of them still fighting over areas of Sudzha. And also, they're heavily shelling Tetkino, which is over here, I believe. Yes, so that's an area that had been attacked previously by the Russian Defense Corps. And it could be that it's those elements, and the Russian Freedom of Russia Legion might be attacking there. That would be sensible for me. So I'd be hitting in as many places as possible, taking the initiative from the Russians, forcing them to react. The idea for me so the main rationale for this, and I think it's very clever if this is the case, is to take land back, to be able to swap land. And if you want, say, 1,000 square kilometers to take 1,000, you take your own 1,000 square kilometers back, right? Or you take another 1,000 square kilometers from Russia and swap them for what you've taken. Like, it's the same kind of thing. Now, the problem is, if you want to take, so this area in Avdiivka is an area smaller than what the Ukrainians have just taken in 4 days. This is now the 5th day. And Ukrainians have taken a bigger area than the whole Avdiivka front, the whole Pokrovsk region. Right. That's taken the Russians since October last year to take. If the Ukrainians try and do a counterattack with those same troops up there and counterattack here, they'll be coming across fortifications, minefields, tank ditches, and Russian troops dug in, right, and active around here. The Ukrainians would lose huge numbers of troops and equipment in taking this area back, and that's smaller than what they've just taken in 4 days. Would the Ukrainians, with the same troops, be able to take this area in 4 days? Absolutely not, I would argue. So what they've done is saying, instead of taking that area, let's take this area of comparable size. Oh my goodness, we've taken even more ground. Oh my goodness! They're 30 kilometers here, which is the length of the Prokhorovsk front from back the other side of Avdiivka to where they are now. Russians have taken 30 kilometers in since October last year, so that's 2 plus where we 8, so that's 10 months. 10 months they've taken that, and the Ukrainians have taken this in 4 days. So there will be just weak lines of defense, few minefields, and not many troops at all. It's a bit like the Kharkiv counteroffensive: get in behind them, cause havoc, take loads of land, bish bash bosh. Can they hold on to this? Can the Russians take it back? Do the Russians have the resources? Are they really paper thin themselves? So I do see the rationale here, potentially. Right. So no reports talking about how the Russian forces are complaining that Ukrainian forces are advancing in the Belovsky district. So that's Politsia and Belaya. A village of Belaya has been evacuated and possibly has seen a shell land in a hospital around there. DRG units, Ukrainian DRG units are a long way behind the lines. There are flags being taken down and Ukrainian flags being put up. Areas to the east of Sudzha, evidence as being under Ukrainian control here. So that's Makhnovka that was mentioned, so on and so forth. So there's an awful lot going on. Check out Null Reports is continue reporting. Lots of explosions around Kursk at the moment. Something's not happy in Kursk. Unexpectedly, it turned out that the war works in both directions. Russians report the missile debris hit a residential building. So all sorts of things going on to shape possibly the battlefield for the Ukrainians to take further ground. A number of rumors swirling through Russian mill blogger channels tonight about a new Ukrainian push in Kursk aimed eastward at the towns of Belitsia and Belaya and their railroad junctions. Obviously going to be super important. The eastern town Belaya is now reportedly under a mandatory evacuation, as already mentioned. We have here claims of heavy shelling, as mentioned in Tetkino, and Russian forces apparently in the town have reportedly been cut off from communications. So that could be good news for the Ukrainians. Now, David D is very overtly positive about what's going on in particularly this situation and many others, is saying that it could be a Patriot in the area, but there are differing reports of this is your maximal claim of 2 Su-34s, a Mi-8, Mi-28N, and 3 Ka-52 attack helicopters being shot down. Now, who knows whether that is true, but a fraction of that has definitely happened. So I think we've definitely lost at least 2 Ka-30, Ka-52s. The Mi-28N has been damaged, tail rotor blades hit by an FPV drone, and I think Su-34 probably one is at least one has been taken out, but that could be all of those taken out, and it could be a Patriot, could be manpads, Stingers heavily used in the area. Now there's a lot of talk about fortifications. Here we've got CJ from Turchny saying as the Russians frantically dig new defensive lines right around Kursk, so they're absolutely panicking around the nuclear power plant. Ukrainian excavators are digging artillery positions everywhere they can. So he's saying that people often talk about artillery around disparity, but arguably engineering equipment will decide the situation. Constantine, if you want to help out anyone, because I've not been able to sort out my NAFO truck yet, if you want to help Constantine raise funds, he's raised funds for 2 excavators that apparently have been seen in Kursk. His excavators doing stuff for the Ukrainians already in this Kursk area. So that's fantastic. Go and help him out. Earlier today, Russian channels posted a video of an Iskander strike on a reported Ukrainian position in Kursk, but that was 25 kilometers into Russian territory. So again, the Ukrainians could be much, much further forward than previously thought. Halfway to the key Kursk E38 motorway was a claim there. And 2 majors, the Russian Telegram channel is confirming that the Russians are in trouble near Belaya, and that tank round hospital in this district was shot by tanks, according to him. Now, lots of firms data to suggest that the Ukrainians are shaping the battlefield. There is one field in the middle of nowhere that's got huge firms data that would indicate possibly an air defense battery might have been taken out there, but who knows? It could be an ammunition depot or whatever. The Ukrainians, I think, are doing a really good job of shaping stuff around here and taking out lots and lots of targets. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out. But I think swapping this land for Ukrainian land, if you're going to take any land, take the easiest land you can get. If land is a metric, so the Ukrainians have 2 metrics here, potentially taking land and not losing troops, right? They don't have many troops. So where can you attack to take the most land without losing many troops, while it's also having that land being significant in terms of logistics, railroads, power, etc., etc. This might be the prime real estate for the Ukrainians to take, right? So you go and do that down in Kursk. Okay, you can take land, brilliant. You lose loads of troops, so you fail on that metric. Here, you take loads of lands and you don't lose troops, and the Russians lose loads of troops and equipment themselves. Yep, we'll take that. So I think this could be it. Now, what they do with this land, how they defend it, what the Russians can bring to bear themselves, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, that's my tuppence on this third time round. I'm sorry I've rushed it. Take care, guys. Speak soon.